Confusion in Parliament Friday over the President's new ministerial appointments during question time. The minority asked who the substantive Minister of Roads and Highways was when the Deputy Minister turned up in Parliament to answer questions related to some road networks. This resulted in a heated debate on the floor, with the minority likening the confusion to the state of the nation.
The minister was billed to appear before the House to answer questions from members, but his deputy rather showed up, sparking the debate.
So I'm asking him, who is the Minister for Roads?
Honorable Deputy Majority.
Honorable Alhaji Amidu Suleimani as the Minister for Roads.
This House cannot deny that the President has announced that he has reshuffled his Minister for Roads and Highways to the Upper West region. We all know that. I'm saying that there is a transitional arrangement, and that minister still acts as Minister for Roads and Highways until a substantive minister is reassigned to that ministry or a new person is nominated.
MP for Sekondi and ranking member of the House, Papa Wusu Nkrumah, said the confusion has given credence to the Ayerdeng demonstration in Kumasi.
I'm saying that what is happening confirms the Ayerdeng demonstration in Kumasi. Of course, there's separate confusion, which I believe will be an opinion shared by majority of the people of this country.
Honorable member for Sekondi, what are you doing? Are you
The Speaker, Edward Duajaho, asked the Minister of Information and Media Relations to bring some clarity to the matter. His attempt, however, rather fueled the debate.
Honorable
The Minister for Information.
Very well.
The Minister for Information
And Media Relations.
also insisted that Alhaji Suleimani
No, he has corrected it.
is the acting minister. If this is not confusion, what do you define as confusion? If this alone is not confusion, you are insisting, as the deputy leader of government business, you are insisting that he's a substantive minister. The Minister for Information is saying that he's only a mere acting minister. That is not confusion for me. That is not confusion. Define confusion then. Define confusion to this house. If this is not confusion.
So that so far as this house is concerned, somebody like Honorable Opon Fosu, this house still considers him to be the minister in charge of local government, rural development. And for that matter, it is strange to me that this house will take this position, and then this morning we are asking who is responsible for roads and highways. Are we not contradicting ourselves?
The Deputy Minister eventually stood in for his substantive minister and responded to questions from members. In his response to a question posed by the MP for Tema Central on the traffic congestion on the Accra-Tema motorway, he said there are plans to add more lanes and toll booths to the existing ones. Still in Parliament, the chairman of the Electoral Commission has been summoned to appear before a committee of the whole on Wednesday, June 18. He is to brief the House on initiatives being undertaken by the Commission to deepen public confidence in the electoral process. Member for Nsawam Edoejiri, Frank Anodompre, also suggested the Minister of Finance be summoned soon to tell the House when the statutory funds will be paid.
The Government and Hospital Pharmacists Association has advised government not to ignore its concerns about remuneration and conditions of service it says are yet to be addressed. GOSPA has in the past laid down its tools to draw attention to some of these grievances. Executives of the association at a national meeting and symposium reiterated the concerns, even though they do not threaten a strike to get them addressed.
The 2014 GOSPA National Meeting and Scientific Symposium brought together all regional representatives of pharmacists across the country and other selected health workers. The meeting discussed the plight of pharmacists in Ghana, its regulatory matters on hospital practice, clinical audit, documentation and practice processes, among others. Members decried what they described as unfair treatment in the single spine pay structure.
Our silence over the past few months is to afford the state, and I mean the state, and its key institutions, notably the executive and the judiciary, ample time to look at our issues and resolve them once and for all. With our facts and convictions, and I believe we always talk about evidence-based, and we always show the evidence like with Kubako. We will not relent in the struggle. We will fight to the very end to earn our just due. This is notice to the Fair Wages and Salary Commission, the Ministry of Health, the government, and even the courts and the National Labour Commission.
The group also expressed concern it is not receiving the respect and recognition their training skills and knowledge deserves. Doctors, they complain, look down on pharmacists as mere healthcare professionals.
Doctors do not often see pharmacists as healthcare professionals with whom they must work in a team. This is very strange, considering the fact that most Ghanaian medical officers have trained and worked overseas and know fully well the good practices there. Which Ghanaian medical officer would even think of storing and dispensing any medicine themselves when they work in the United States, United Kingdom, Germany, Japan, Singapore, South Africa, or indeed several other middle and high-income countries? That is just not done. It is illegal, unethical, and unprofessional, and goes seriously against the interests of the patient and the wider society.
GOSPA is meanwhile urging fellow pharmacists to earn their place in the healthcare delivery system by working hard and contributing their quota to ensuring that patients receive the best in terms of healthcare.
One of the measures the electricity providers are adopting to reduce power outages and ensure there is enough to go around during this World Cup is the launch of an energy-saving campaign. Spearheaded by the Ministry of Energy, it is hoped the Switch a Freezer Off campaign would reduce demand and cut waste. Officials explain turning off your freezer or fridge as you watch the World Cup will not make your items in the fridge go bad, but it will free up electricity for other households.
Deputy Minister of Energy John Jinapor said the Volta River Authority spends about 80% of its revenue on procuring light crude oil to generate electricity from thermal sources. He says this calls for efficient usage of the utility during the World Cup season and beyond.
You will be doing this by saving the nation a lot of money. We're currently spending about 7 million Ghana cedis every day to buy light crude oil for our thermal plants alone. VRA spends about 80% of their revenue for light crude oil alone. Currently, VRA spends about 23 cents to produce a kilowatt hour of energy. We pay about 13 cents. And so we are paying about less that amount. And so if you were to be realistic, it means that you keep passing the cost on to consumers. But the more you pass the cost on to consumers, the more unattractive your markets become. And so you are compelled to sometimes balance the system in order to cushion the citizenry. But I believe that we can also do our part by adopting efficient usage of energy. In that, by so doing, we can save some energy.
He says as much as 400 megawatts of electricity can be saved if the campaign succeeds, and appealed to the telecommunication companies to educate the public through text messages on the efficient usage of electricity.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is on the above stated notes that I urge the Energy Commission to ensure that the Switch Off a Freezer campaign, which I am about to launch, is treated with all seriousness nationwide. And if we're able to do this exercise successfully, we can save so much so that it can build between 6 to 10 3-classroom blocks every day for this nation. And so we are saving a lot of money for infrastructure development. In addition to that, the benefit goes directly to you, the consumer, because we have a bundled system of billing. If you fall in a higher bracket, you pay higher. So if you consume less, it means that as a consumer, you fall within a lower bracket and you pay a lesser amount. And so apart from the fact that it is beneficial to the state, I must say that it is equally beneficial to you.
He also advised the public to take advantage of the appliance rebate system to reduce the expenditure on power.
Some motorists in Accra have protested attempts by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to clamp down on unauthorized parking in the capital. A number of them who engaged in a confrontation with an AMA task force said the Assembly should first ensure it provides designated parking around the capital before it sets out to clamp cars for unauthorized parking.
The AMA task force took the clamping exercise to Kukulili, noted for its heavy traffic. Motorists who paid between 50 and 100 Ghana cedis were allowed to go, but there were about 10 vehicles whose drivers refused to pay.
8 to 9 cars, without prior warning. At least I thought that, say BB, I'll make me up inside, say, boss, we can't now, me more 5 minutes. If you don't move your car, I'll probably lock it up. But there was no warning, nothing.
There's no sign showing we should not park here. We've been parking here for the past 20 years, ever since we opened the garage. They just came in this morning and started locking our cars. So we told them, these are our shops and we don't have any place parking. So we saw one of your guys here and started talking to them, but yet they didn't stop. So we started defending our rights here. That's why the problem started.
But did they give you any reason as to why they...
Any reason? They have not given us prior notice that we should not park here. They have not given any warning that we should not park here. They just came and started locking our cars.
So after locking, what do they tell you? Come to office?
They asked us to come and give them money before they unlock our cars.
Money like how?
Money, bribe. Huh? They look at your face and charge you 100 Ghana, 200 Ghana, 50 Ghana, and the rest.
Have some people already paid?
Some people paid the other side, but we insisted we were not going to pay. So they couldn't collect any money from elsewhere. When they saw you coming, they started running away.
The AMA task force will meanwhile not respond to the claims against them.
International news is next.
Hello, it's time for business with me, Matilda Nyakwa Kweku. The Bank of Ghana says there has been no illicit printing of currency notes to support government spending, as has been widely speculated in the past week. The speculations have been based on a recent report by credit rating agency Fitch, which stated the bank was printing money to finance government's budget deficit. Now, the report cautioned the bank's actions could fuel inflation and further weaken the Ghana cedi, but the bank says the Fitch report has been misconstrued.
According to the central bank, the terminology printing money only means lending money to government and not literally printing notes. The bank admits lending money to government but maintains their action is consistent with the law.
In circumstances when government receipts fall short of expenditure, the Bank of Ghana Act of 2002, Act 613, permits financing of government deficit from both domestic and external sources. When central bank lends to government, it is termed printing of money. So it is that printing of money that the Fitch people were referring to. They were not saying that we were literally printing money and carrying it to government to do what it does. No.
The UK rating agency also raised serious concerns about the central bank's lending to government. It said in the first quarter alone, its lending to government was twice the bank's 4-year limit. Dr. Amwa, however, explained the deficit limits referred to by Fitch are actually part of the central bank's own internal controls, but said the report as a whole is fair warning.
One session of the system can lend 15%, and then government can pay another session 6% from it. Then the net domestic lending financing would have been 6 and 9, which will be within the law. But when do we look at it? It's at the end of the fiscal year, which in Ghana is 31st December. So if you take 31st March, the level is for guidance and for monitoring only.
The Bank of Ghana explains it prints currency once a year, usually in the fourth quarter, which is also consistent with the law.
As part of its corporate social responsibility, MTN Ghana, the employees embarked on producing 1,000 bags with New Century Career Training Center in Dansoman, various basic institutions in Takrade, Accra, Tamale and Kumasi. Now, Chief Executive Officer of MTN Ghana, Seriam Tukubung, said they are constructing an e-library to support this project in the country.
It's a part of our global program, which is called the 21 Days of Yellow Care. Today, the MTN Ghana Executive Committee has come through here to use old billboards, which then become recycled to make school bags for children, and they'll be distributed as part of the ongoing program. So this is just one element. The other element we announced is we're building an e-library and also having kids access to about 40,000 digital books. So it's part of us saying, welcome to the new digital world. So there's various projects. Staff members are all over the country doing small projects, which is giving of our own staff time so that we can help the communities in which we work in.
Chief Executive Officer MTN Ghana, Seriam Tukubeng, said MTN 21 Days of Yellow Care is an annual event to support education in Ghana.
One of the key things that we're doing as well, we're partnering with one of our tertiary institutions to offer them during this time period through our cloud computing, access to cloud computing. We'll also be donating some laptops and equipment to ensure that these tertiary institutions also have access to the latest ICT information. Typically, in most of our countries, depending on how they're counting for this, MTN dedicates a certain percentage of their profit after tax to MTN Foundation work. So that covers our wide range of work from education, health, and empowerment. So that's the overall MTN Foundation work.
He said as part of the corporate responsibility, they give their own staff time to support education, health and empowerment.
Well, that's all for business. Israel continues with Showbiz.
Showbiz icon and Ace radio presenter Nathaniel Kwabna Nochedisi, popularly known as Bola Ray, has been sharing special moments he had during his stay with the Multimedia Group Limited. Bola Ray moves on from Joy FM after the month of June, having served or stayed with the company for more than 11 years.
Right here now, I have folks from Multi TV, Joy News, covering this one for television. It's all good. It feels good.
Known for driving listeners home on Joy FM Drive Time show, Bola Ray has opened up about his exiting from Joy FM, as well as sharing his radio journey experience on the Super Morning Show.
Bola Ray.
Yes, sir.
This is the end?
End of an era. I mean, I think that we've served Ghana well. Of course, we've done a bit on Joy FM, and we have to give way to others to also, play their role. 11 years on Joy FM. Very remarkable, I must admit. I joined Joy FM pretty much, yes, out of school, but I was barely done with Central University College. And I was interested because when I was down in Legon in 2000, I wanted to join Joy FM, I didn't get the chance to. And yes, I've told this story over and over again. And I had to go to Top Radio. I got the chance, yes, and we did our bits on Top Radio for 3 years. So in 2003, I was poached eventually from Top Radio to Joy FM, and yes, it was a dream come true. And for the next 11 years, we'll be here putting our best, serve God and country, bring joy into the homes and cars of many, into the lives of many, and touch lives as well. I always say that it wasn't just a radio show. It was an experience. It was a journey. It was a kind of funny thing for me. Every day I sit behind the microphone where you're sitting and just, touch the lives of others.
Bolare explains his departure, stating that he needs to move on because as a man of many parts, he has other cards up his sleeve.
Yeah. Well, I think, like I said earlier on in the intro, I think that it gets to a point you also want to give others the chance to, play their role. I mean, yeah, it shouldn't be Bolare all the time, that belt. I believe that other people also deserve that chance. But most importantly, it's also about life's journey. I believe that when you're being appraised or you're being assessed, there are many times that if my employers will go back to what was written and say, okay, they talk about your vision for the next 5 years or your plans. And for me, over the years, when I'm being assessed or appraised, I put that in that, okay, the next 5 years, this is where I want to be in the next.
That's it for the bulletin. Before we go, a quick run through our top stories. The Bank of Ghana says it will now allow those who operate foreign accounts to withdraw up to $1,000 per transaction from their accounts, but denies the measures it introduced in February were aimed at halting the free fall of the cedi. The central bank has also denied reports attributed to credit rating agency Fitch that it is printing money to finance government's budget deficit, explaining the statement from Fitch has been misconstrued. Family of woman whose baby remains unaccounted for in Konfanochi Teaching Hospital missing baby saga expresses disappointment about outcome of investigations into the matter. Recent ministerial reshuffle causes stir in Parliament after Deputy Roads and Highways Minister shows up in the House on behalf of substantive minister. And the Ministry of Energy is urging households to turn off their refrigerators during World Cup matches as a way out of current energy crisis. That's it for the bulletin. My name is Israel. Thank you very much for watching. You have a good evening.